Hello dear students, let's see this question from GATE 2007 exam. It's a 2 marks question and the statement reads, the floating point unit of a processor using a design D takes 2t cycles compared to t cycles taken by the fixed point unit. There are two more design suggestions, D1 and D2. D1 uses 30% more cycles for fixed point unit, but 30% less cycles for floating point unit, as compared to design D. D2 uses 40% less cycles for fixed point unit, but 10% more cycles for floating point unit, as compared to design D. For a given program which has 80% fixed point operations and 20% floating point operations, which of the following ordering reflects the relative performances of these three designs? Di greater than Dj denotes that Di is faster than Dj. Then you can see these four options. Okay, so what they're saying is you have this design D where the floating point unit takes double the clock cycles as taken by fixed point unit. Now there's another scheme D1 where fixed point unit takes 30% more clock cycles as it were in design D. Okay, we need to tell which one of these three is going to be the fastest. I've noted the information in tabular form, you can see it. And you are given that this is the program that you are going to execute, where 80% of the instructions use fixed point unit. Okay, so let's analyze how much time is this design D going to take. Okay, so 80% of the instructions are fixed point. That means for 80% of the times, it's going to take only t clock cycles because this is given in question. Fixed point unit takes t clock cycles for design D. This is the program that we are going to execute on all three designs, D, D1 and D2. Then the remaining 20% of instructions, they are going to take t clock cycles. Okay. Let's analyze what happens in this design D1. In D1, you can see time taken or clock cycles taken by fixed point are increased by 30%. Earlier it took t clock cycles. Now we need to increase this value by 30%. That means in 80% of the instructions, it is going to take 30% more than t, which is equivalent to saying as t is multiplied by 1.3. How can I say this? Like 30% increase means multiply by 1.3 because this is how you are going to increase by 30%. Yeah, t plus 30% of t. You solve it and you'll realize this is actually t into 1.3. Okay. Anyways, that was a shortcut that you can remember. So 80% of instructions take these many clock cycles and the remaining 20%, they are going to take 30% less. Earlier it was 2t, I guess. Yeah, I have missed a 2 here. You can make this correction. Earlier it was 2t. Now to decrease this value, this 2t by 30%, we need to multiply it by 0.7. Okay, so 2t into 0.7 means decreasing 2t by 30%. Let's analyze this design D2 also. But before that, you can do one thing. You can assume that t clock cycles means some n number of seconds or time units. I am assuming the value of t to be 1. Okay. But the thing is, in all three designs, you assume the same value. Means everywhere t will be replaced by the value that you assume. I am assuming it to be 1. You can also assume 100 or whatever. Okay. So I've replaced t by 1. Now let's analyze what happens in this design D2. Here 80% of instructions are going to take 40% less time. Earlier the time was 1 because t is now replaced by 1. And 40% less means multiplying this value by 0.6. Okay. Then the 20% of instructions, they are floating point. Floating point unit takes 10% more clock cycles as compared to this design D. Okay. Means 2t has to be increased by 10%. We have already assumed t to be 1, that means 2 has to be increased by 10%. Increasing by 10% means multiplication by 1.1. Okay. So I'm writing 2 times 1.1. Now let's calculate all these and you'll get your answer. I'm using a calculator. Anyways, this one is a simple calculation. It is 0.8 plus 0.4, 1.2. These ones, I'll just calculate them. Now from here you can see that this design D2 takes least amount of time. That means this one is the fastest one. So your answer will be D2 is fastest. Then we have this design D. Then the remaining one, D1, is the slowest one. Okay. So this is your answer. You can check which option it is. Okay.